This is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan.
That boy is Benny Hunter.
Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down, bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Today on Keek on the Mic, I will be giving you guys my Chicago Bears mock draft 2.0. The NFL draft is coming closer as the NFL Combine is set to go on all this week, and the NFL draft will be at the end of next month. So I thought today would be the perfect day to give you guys my mock draft 2.0. Also, we know that Ryan Poles will be in his very first NFL draft as the Chicago Bears GM, and he has a lot of work to do as the Chicago Bears only have 5 draft picks in this upcoming NFL draft. So, like always, as I'm going through my trades, my picks, all the stuff that I think is going to happen in this year's NFL draft, feel free to comment down below, follow along, and let me know what you would do if you were in Ryan Poles' shoes for this year's NFL draft. And to make it more of an enjoyable video for you guys, I will be posting my trades and my picks on the screen, so it'll make it easier for you guys to follow along in this video. So here we go. I'm going to start off the NFL mock draft with a trade. I will be sending the Seahawks my pick 39, and the Bears will receive their pick 42, and we would add a 4th round pick, which would be a really good bargain for the Chicago Bears, as not only we're trying to add picks, we would also be able to add a 4th round pick where we don't have a 4th round pick. So this would be a very good trade for the Chicago Bears. So now moving on to round 2, pick 42, I have the Chicago Bears selecting offensive guard Zion Johnson out of Boston College. Zion Johnson has been a Chicago Bears fan favorite since the beginning of the draft process. He is 6'2", 314 pounds. And Ryan Poles is stressing more athleticism and speed on his own line. He wants his guys to be a little bit smaller, a little bit more athletic, and have a lot of speed. Moving pockets, because I expect the Bears, with Luke Getsy coming into town, to be running a zone scheme, blocking scheme, where we're going to expect our offensive linemen to be able to pull, get to the second level with their speed and athleticism, and Zion Johnson definitely fits that mold. Johnson is a strong and athletic run blocker and a technical pass protector. Johnson exhibits exceptional play strength, winning his battles at the line of scrimmage with a knack and finishing his blocks and putting his defenders in the dirt. So not only does he have the speed to get to the second level, not only is he athletic, but he has that little nasty edge to him, and he can put the defenders in the dirt, and that's something that I stress a lot. I like offensive linemen that have that nasty edge to him, so I like that Zion Johnson's able to finish his blocks and put defenders in the dirt. The best part about Johnson is that he exceeds as that pulling guard and owns the speed to get to the second level. Just like I mentioned, Ryan Poles is stressing that when he's picking offensive linemen, not only in the draft, but if he signs a couple of linemen in free agency. He expects them to be able to get to the second level with their athleticism and speed, and that's what Zion Johnson will bring to the Chicago Bears offensive line. I truly feel that this pick would be a home run pick. I know for the longest time I've been stressing wide receiver David Bell out of Purdue, which I would also be fine with that pick right here. But if Zion Johnson does happen to drop to pick 42 after we trade back, I think this would absolutely be a home run pick. Now we are moving on to round 3, where I start off round 3 with the trade by trading back with the Seattle Seahawks. I send Seattle round 3, pick 71, and a 6th round pick, pick 185, and the Bears will receive pick 74 in the 3rd round, and a 4th round pick, pick 112. That would now give us 2 4th round picks. I would absolutely love this trade if Ryan Poles was able to pull this off. So in round 3, pick 74, I have the Chicago Bears selecting wide receiver Skyy Moore out of Western Michigan. He is 5'10", 195 pounds, and Moore was just a very consistently productive player for Western Michigan for 3 seasons. He plays with a good pace and is able to create space with route leverage. And this is a guy that's not going to burn you down the field. He doesn't have excellent speed, but he's a guy that would be a reliable target for Justin Fields, a guy that runs good routes, a guy that can get open, and a guy that would be kind of like that safety blanket that Justin Fields needs in order for Fields to take the next level. And I feel like you always need guys like that. And I know a lot of Bears fans saying, oh, it's all about speed, which speed is absolutely important. And Ryan Poles has stressed that he wants explosive players on the offensive side and the defense side of the football. But I just feel like in round 3, Skyy Moore was a productive receiver at Western Michigan, and I feel like he would do the same in Chicago for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears offense. So moving on to round 4, and like I said in this video before entering this draft, the Chicago Bears had no 4th-round picks. With 2 trades, now in the 2nd and then 1 in the 3rd, we now have 2 4th-round picks, which would be a huge luxury for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. So with my first round 4 pick 106, I have the Chicago Bears selecting tackle Kellen Diesch out of Arizona State. He is 6'7", 300 pounds. Diesch is a massive guy with good foot quickness, body control, and recovery balance to stay attached to his blocks. He has the ability to pull and lead in space, to track, intersect, and fit on smaller targets. And this is something when I was watching this film that really impressed me about this guy. He's 6'7", 300 pounds, but he's athletic, he's quick, he can move, he can get to that second level. And once again, this is very rare. When you're able to get a guy that's this big and can move like this guy can, that would be a huge luxury for the Chicago Bears offensive line that is trying to get younger, that's trying to get faster, that's trying to get more athletic. And adding a good tackle like Diesch would allow maybe for us to move a guy like Tevin Jenkins to right tackle, which is natural position, and then maybe move Larry Borom to guard, which would definitely benefit the Chicago Bears offensive line and help them get a whole lot better. With my second round 4 selection, pick number 112, I have the Chicago Bears selecting wide receiver Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. He is 6'4", 211 pounds, which I know a lot of Bears fans are going to love that. Something about Christian Watson that you guys will love is that he has a very good blend of not only a size thing at 6'4", but speed and length. We can use him in so many different ways, and he can score in many different ways. When I was watching his film, he was a punt returner. He was catching touchdown passes. They had him on jet sweeps, all that stuff. They used him all over the field, and he can score in so many different ways. He almost reminds me of a bigger version of like Jakeem Grant. He runs good routes and has effective separation ability, and he's just an absolute burner. He's big. Justin Fields will be able to throw deep balls to him all day long, and I feel like this would be an excellent value pick in round 4 for the Chicago Bears. Now moving on to round 5, where we have 2 picks in round 5. So with my first pick 144 in round 5, I have the Chicago Bears selecting safety Nick Cross out of Maryland. He stands at 6'1", 215 pounds. And Cross is a speed size threat who would bring that physicality to an NFL defensive backfield. And picking a guy like Nick Cross would be a really good news for Eddie Jackson, because most of Nick Cross's tape is him being in the box, him as a pass rusher. He has the ability to drop back and be that ball hawk, but most of the time, he was Maryland's strong safety, a guy that you can use him as a pass rusher. He doesn't miss tackles. He's actually a really good tackler. He has nice size to him, and I think that would be added benefit for Eddie Jackson looking for a resurgence. And I think if we're able to put Eddie Jackson back at that free safety spot, it would really benefit Eddie Jackson. So I feel like in round 5, and knowing that the Bears have been shuffling safeties for a long time, ever since letting Adrian Amos walk, it's time to find a long-term solution to that strong safety problem, and I feel like Nick Cross out of Maryland would answer that for the Chicago Bears. With my last pick in round 5, pick number 148, I have the Chicago Bears selecting center Luke Fortner out of Kentucky. He stands at 6'4", 300 pounds. Fortner has impressive movement skills with excellent foot speed, change of direction ability, and agility. He's great at finishing blocks, and he would add versatility as he has played every interior offensive line position. This is something that I really like about Fortner, is that he has played every single interior offensive line position. That is an area where the Chicago Bears have struggled, is the interior of the offensive line. Obviously, we need to upgrade from Sam Mustipher, and you can either do it here by selecting Luke Fortner, or you can do it in free agency. But all in all, we need to make sure that we upgrade the interior of the offensive line for the Chicago Bears. this is a guy that, once again, he's athletic, he's quick, he can get to the second level, and I truly feel that this will be a really good guy to bring in to add competition to maybe start at center. You can maybe have him compete for a guard position, but that should be the focus for Ryan Poles, not only in free agency, but the NFL draft, to add quality starters and guys that can come in on the offensive line to compete to make this offensive line better. And at the end of the day, the main goal is trying to keep Justin Fields upright, right? You want to make sure you're able to keep your franchise signal caller clean so he can make all the throws and help him get to that next level. So I'm going to put my NFL mock draft 2.0 up on the screen now so you guys can look at it, and I'll go over each pick once again. In round 2, I have the Bears selecting offensive guard Zion Johnson out of Boston College. In round 3, I have wide receiver Skyy Moore out of Western Michigan. In round 4, I have tackle Kellen Diesch out of Arizona State. In the second round 4 pick, I have wide receiver Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. In round 5, at pick 144, I have safety Nick Cross out of Maryland. And in round 5, to finish up this mock draft, pick 148, I have the Chicago Bears selecting center Luke Fortner out of Kentucky. Obviously, you guys can see my main focus going into this mock draft 2.0, and it's obviously protecting Justin Fields and getting him weapons. And I feel like I was able to do that in this NFL draft 2.0. And obviously, you know, are these trades realistic to me? Absolutely. I'm not saying I'm going to get a whole bunch of picks, but I added an extra pick, 2 picks in the 4th round, and I feel like that would totally be feasible for Ryan Poles to pull off. Will it happen with one team? Probably not. But I think all in all, I feel like this is a pretty realistic mock draft. And obviously, these are just my opinion. Will it actually happen? Probably not, but it's always fun to do these mock drafts and hear your guys' opinions and hear what you guys would do if you guys were in Ryan Poles' shoes. All in all, though, I feel like adding all these players, all these players will make an immediate impact for the Chicago Bears roster. When you're trying to do like a mini rebuild, you can't have any wasted draft picks, right? So you need to be able to hit home on all of these draft picks, and I feel like I did that here in the Chicago Bears mock draft 2.0. So like always, let me know how I did below, and I want to hear who you guys would draft in your mock drafts if you guys were in Ryan Poles' shoes. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Kick on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.